A very good afternoon and welcome along to today's Lite Bite Lunch. It's Thursday, the 9th of July. We're coming to you live from Ballinamore in Leitrim, where it's a little bit wet and windy today, but pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee and certainly join us for a chat for the next half an hour. In a week where we've seen RTE spend €5,000 or revealed that they've spent €5,000 on flip-flops among another number of other items, or they loaned somebody a car and paid them $25,000 a year in expenses to run that car, and they only loaned them the car for 5 years. It's certainly been a strange year, or a strange few years at RTE, and it'll certainly be interesting to see where all this leads. But on to far more important things. Before I introduce our guests today, I do want to mention that the subjects we're going to be discussing are quite sensitive and maybe not suitable for younger ears. But there is also a great story of hope in it. So after viewing it, maybe on a playback, if you feel it's something that would be beneficial to your teenage children or whatnot to see, maybe you could direct them to the show. So on that note, I'll say to you, sit back, relax with your coffee over the next half hour, and good afternoon. Welcome to the Lite Bite Lunch. Well, my guest today, I'm absolutely delighted, has appeared on the show multiple times before and has a new stage in the tale to tell. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Jackie Fox, who is the lady who fought very hard to have Coco's Law brought into being. But more about that in a few minutes. So Jackie, first of all, maybe for anyone who hasn't seen you on the show before, who hasn't heard your story, perhaps you tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for having me back on your show. I lost my daughter, Nicole, in January 2018 due to physical abuse and online abuse from her so-called friends. And the physical abuse was horrendous enough where they burnt her, they pulled her down a flight of stairs, they dislocated her hip, they beat her up every chance they could get. But it was the mental abuse that actually got into Nicole's head, and it couldn't find its way out. The mental abuse was online through the app Snapchat, WhatsApp, and where they send videos of news on how to hang yourself. They told her every day to hang yourself, kill yourself, we all hate you. And it wasn't until after Nicole died, the guards came to my door and told me that what these people did wasn't a criminal offence, that there was no law in Ireland to protect anyone from online abuse the way Nicole and many more suffered. So it wasn't until then, it was a choice I had to make. I really wanted to go with Nicole and decided to go with Nicole one night until I turned it around and then decided to bring in a law to make online bullying a criminal offence. So these people, trolls, keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them, can be punished and will be punished under a law that I brought in, under a law called Coco's Law, which was named after my daughter.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you. You've summed it up absolutely perfectly there, everything about your story. Now, before we delve in and discuss Nicole and discuss Coco's Law and all of that, what I want to know, and something I've never asked you when you've been on the show previously, Tell me about your life before your life was turned upside down. So pre Nicole's passing away, um, what did your life consist of?
You know, I was just an ordinary man that did school runs. I had Nicole and two other boys. Life was, it was busy. I had, as I said, the school runs and football runs, football training, and the three of them were in karate. They were going. Nicole was actually going for our black belt, and the boys were going for a black and brown belt. So, going to competitions, just busy, 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 all the time. We had a mobile home in Cortown where our escape from all the craziness of everyday life. We'd go down to the mobile home, summer holidays, bank holidays, midterm, and we had so much fun down there with the kids, where we'd go crab fishing all the time. We'd spend hours on the beach, they jumping off the pier into the water, just it was just happy, a normal life for, if that's what you call it, that a lot of people would do the normal runs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So if it was your typical day-to-day mom role of caregiver and
Yeah,
chauffeur, the whole lot, all of that. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
do, I think how far you have managed to bring things is quite remarkable. So can we talk? I mean, and again, if you're not comfortable, then please just let me know. But tell me about Nicole. Tell me the type of person she was, what she liked, etc.
I'm going to say great things about her because she was great, and she was funny, she was lively, she was so bubbly, she was popular growing up, and she had a lot of friends, but in saying that, she was cheeky. She was well able to answer me back. Many times I used to run up the stairs after her, in an argument, and she'd still have to get the last word in, but she never brought any trouble to my door. She was actually a mammy's girl. She We did so much together, and she was my best friend, and she was my little shadow at the same time. And we used to go shopping all the time, and just we did so much together. I used to give out to her when she was, before she'd go out, and I'd be giving out saying, you know, don't be putting false tan on my white towels, and usual giving out about what are silly things now, if you like, irrelevant things. But she was my best friend, and we were always together, and she had this bubbly, funny, cheeky laugh as well, and she was great at one-liners, if you like. She always had an answer for anything, but they would be funny answers, and she just a great, funny, bubbly personality that she never suffered with mental health issues or anxiety or anything like that growing up. That all came when the bullying
Yeah.
started.
Now, Monique has a question in relation to that for you. Did Nicole actually confide in you when she was being victimized? Or was she trying to keep it to herself and it was only over time you discovered? And secondly, had fighting for justice help you deal with the grief?
Okay, Nicole confided in every single thing that happened. She didn't. We knew she. These were her friends, so obviously she knew the victims, and she knew their families. I was friends with their families, so no, she told me everything that was going on. The only thing is now with the physical abuse, Monique, we did go down to the guards, um, but because Nicole was over 18, she didn't want to make this. She had to make the statement, but she didn't want to then because she was terrified to make a statement. So we could have gotten things done with the physical abuse, but with the online abuse, these people that were bullying her were Nicole was 18 when it started. The main girl was 23. So we're talking about adults here, the ones that burnt her and dislocated her hip. We weren't talking about kids. So it's so much harder to deal with adults than it would have been the guards dealing with kids. fighting for justice for Nicole, did it help with the grief? It didn't help with the grief, but it helped to keep me here. And I needed something to give me a focus on, to stay, to give me something to get up for every morning, because I still had my boys and I still had my family. So it gave me a focus to keep me here. And I didn't deal with the grief until Coco's Law was passed, and I slowed down, and then that's when reality really kicked in and hit me. That I gave Coco out to everyone when I was fighting for Coco's Law, but with the grief, I took Nicole back, not Coco. I took Nicole back, and that's when the reality hit me. So the grief only started after Coco's Law was
Came into
passed.
being.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that regard, in reality, I think for you, in a lot of ways, based on how far things have come, and we will come on to that in a little while, only after the law being passed has your workload really increased in your fight and in your battle. But let's go right back to the beginning. I can't even imagine what you were feeling, what you were going through at the time. Where did you start to try and get some justice for Nicole in all of this? And while you can't get specifically justice for Nicole, where was your starting point in getting people to listen and getting this law passed?
Okay, at the start, I tried to go the route of TDs, getting meetings in the Dáil, and trying to highlight it through the government, and no one listened to me. They actually looked down at me and kind of just, they all said, that's not going to happen. I told them I wanted to make online bullying a criminal offence, and they just said, they pushed me away, like, and said that's not going to happen. I did protest outside Leinster House. I had a huge march through Dublin City, but the turning point for me was social media. Social media can be brilliant if it's used the right way, but it also has its dark side. I use social media to highlight Nicole's story, and I hate saying the word story, because she's more than a story. She mattered then, she matters now. She's so much more than a story. But on social media, I shared her story, and I went on TV, the radio station, everywhere where there's media, and it was the Irish people, um, that actually turned this around for me. And they're the ones that got in contact with me. They said this was happening to their daughter, their son, their auntie, their uncle, their cousin, and a large group was forming for support for me. And then it wasn't until probably a good bit of the way through that the TDs started to take notice and start to speak about it in the Dáil, and then they started to help on this. But it was the likes of March for Justice Ireland, and all the ordinary everyday mums and dads, and that they were the ones that wanted to help me all the way through. And if it wasn't for them, would I have gotten through to the TDs and the ministers? Probably not. They made the Irish people made so much noise behind me that they were.
Well, I'll have to disagree with you there. Knowing your determination, I think nothing was going to stop you until you actually did manage to make it somewhere.
Yeah, I did say that I had a meeting in the Dáil, and I did say that I was going to be the biggest pain in the arse that you could ever come across, and that I was never ever going to give up. So yeah, I was never going to give. See, you have to remember, and the reason why I was never going to give up, because this is what was keeping me here. If I did give up, I probably wouldn't be here. So I needed never to give up. It was my fight to stay as well,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, before we carry on with the show, I just need to make mention about this. Just want to remind people that award season is very nearly here. and we will be holding the finals on October 21st in White's Hotel in Wexford. Jackie is actually a finalist and will be there on the night as well. So for anyone who's thinking maybe they'd like to come along, it'd be a great opportunity to actually meet Jackie face to face and have a chance to have a chat with her. You're a finalist. I think you're a finalist in the giving back category, if I'm right, Jackie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
also there
right.
or thereabouts in the mix for the People's Choice category. Anyone that would like to vote in the People's Choice category, the website to visit is irishmicrobusinessawards.ie. If you go to the tab that says Enter and scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see the form. Fill in the name of your favourite business. Tell us in a few short words why they should win the People's Choice Award. And the voting on that is of course, running until the end of August, and that's when we'll find out who the winner is. And of course, like all the other winners, that will all be announced at the finals on the 21st of October. Tickets are available and are priced at €90. And if you would like to order tickets, you can email microbusinessawards@gmail.com with the subject tickets. Let us know how many tickets you would like, and you will get an email back then with your invoice and payment details. And we'll see you then on the night of the 21st of October, when we're going to have a lovely door raffle. We have some lovely prizes already. And of course, if anyone would like to sponsor a prize for the door raffle on the night, again, use the same email address, microbusinessawards@gmail.com, and we can make arrangements to collect the prize from you, or we can collect it on the night off you if you're coming along and joining us also. And we do look forward to seeing you all there. Now, Jackie, as you know, one of the things we do love to ask people when they come on the show is about their favourite Lite Bite lunch. Given the ever-changing weather that we're currently experiencing, for you, what's your ideal Lite Bite lunch at the moment?
Well, here's where I become a bit of a weirdo. I love pasta. Now, not with mince or meat or anything. I love pasta with sugar and milk, and that would be my lunch. When we were younger, we actually got that. My mum used to give us that, and it used to fill us up great. But my nanny used to give my mum that as well. So pasta with sugar and milk on it, and I don't know if there's a lot of people that like that as well. Probably not.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if nobody else likes it. I mean,
Yeah.
over the couple of years I've been doing this show, I've heard a couple of concoctions, and I'm just kind of, no, I don't think I could actually bring myself to try that. But no, again, it's one of those things, and it's all about what works for you and what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a couple more comments here that I just want to bring to you very quickly. Maggie Geraghty is just talking about the fact of how inspiring you are and what a wonderful legacy and all the lives that you have saved through your campaign.
Thank you so much, Maggie.
Right?
That's beautiful.
And
thank you.
Monique has a further question. And maybe you know the answer, maybe you don't. The people behind the abuse, how have they processed what has happened? Do they accept any blame for Nicole's death? Are their parents aware of their involvement? Have they ever approached you to apologise to you?
Okay. Do they accept blame for Nicole's death? No, but I'd say they're feeling it. When I was campaigning for Coco's Law, I did hear from them, and that was to threaten me and not to go ahead with campaigning for Coco's Law because they thought you were going to be prosecuted. So what they did, instead of an apology, which I will never, ever, ever accept anyway, what they did was threaten me to beat me up, to stop me doing Coco's Law. They threatened to put a petrol bomb in my letterbox and ridiculous things like that, just to stop me going ahead with because you were afraid you were going to be prosecuted. So no, I have never been approached by these people because I didn't give them the opportunity to approach me. And this all happened in Dublin, and I moved to Wexford because I didn't never wanted to see the ones that hurt Nicole all lived around the local area, and so I never wanted to see them. So I didn't give them a chance to approach me. And as I said, when I was campaigning, they threatened me. I did know their parents, and they came from decent homes. Some people say, oh, they were probably bullied themselves. They probably came from a bad background and stuff. No, absolutely not. And these people targeted Nicole with their own admission. They targeted her because of jealousy, and they even admitted that themselves, that they were jealous of them. And do they feel shame? Do you know what? I I don't know. I don't know if they do. But all I can believe in is karma, and I don't think anyone can get away with hurting someone and making someone feel like they can't live past another day and think that they can just get away with that. And so I'm hoping karma is true and that comes around for them. And especially after threatening to stop me from campaigning and, you know,
Absolutely. I mean, I
yeah,
honestly
yeah.
can't imagine where you found the strength to keep going
Mm.
based on that.
From Nicole is all I can say. There's no, as we spoke earlier on, I'm not a superwoman. I didn't get instructions with this. This wasn't my life plan. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Of how life
absolutely.
is supposed to be. So, and the only thing is, the strength from Nicole. That's the only thing I can think of.
Absolutely. Well, we're just going to take a very quick break there to give you a chance
Yeah.
to catch your breath and grab a drink of coffee or whatnot. So, if Cheryl wants to just play that ad break there. Yes, indeed, our friends at Dowling Crafts are holding their big summer craft fair next Sunday afternoon between 12 and 5 in the Sleeve Russell in Ballyconnell. And if anyone is around, if anyone would like a reason for a day out, it's certainly worth a trip up to. There's lots of different stall holders. In actual fact, it was at that craft fair last year where we found and the company that are actually making the trophies for the Micro Business Awards this year. There's always a huge range there to be found. And of course, even better at this time of year, it is free admission in. So certainly worth a visit. And I'll certainly drop in and see Trish and her team at some stage over the Sunday. So, Jackie, moving on with your story. In 2021, Coco's Law came into being. You now spend your time traveling around the country, visiting schools, visiting groups, and talking about the effects of bullying. On a couple of different pages, while I was looking this week at different things in relation to Coco's Law, I noticed a lot of them have the same idea that it's not ideal to talk to first and second years about. Maybe you can do a watered down version for third years, but really it's being targeted at fourth, fifth, and sixth years. Would there not be something in targeting that younger age group? And if you can stop it early enough for it never to reach the extents that it did later on, or is it a case that it may be too graphic for them at that age?
No, I started off, as you said, I do schools, colleges, youth club, youth reach, football clubs, parent talks. In the schools, in secondary school, I used to start off with TY fifth and sixth, but it's over the last say year or so, it's the schools have been asking me to come in and do for second and third. Um, they can handle it. I think it's something that they definitely need to hear. Listen, this is happening. It's real. Um, for second and thirds, they've grown up with social media. You know, they never knew anything different than social media. They know what can go on in it. So with my talks, I do for second and third years now as well, because it I think a lot of bullying stems from primary, from fourth, fifth, and sixth, and gets carried on into first year. And then in first year, they're older, they're more confident. The bullies, I mean, they're more confident, and they're getting bigger groups together. No, it needs to be stopped at a younger age. I can't, because of the graphic nature, I can't do primary schools, and I wouldn't dare even attempt to do a primary school. But definitely in
Absolutely.
secondary schools, I do first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The primary school now, there is that it is being taught. A Coco's law is being taught in a milder version. Not
Yes.
by me, by the guards. Now the guards as well, they go into primary and secondary schools, and they have through Webwise, they have a thing where they're educating. I'm educating on the effects of bullying and what it does, and you know, the effects of suicide and stuff like that. But the guards are going in educating them what Coco's law is and the consequences of it. So that's all coming together nicely. But definitely a young age, you know, this just doesn't happen, just doesn't pop along in secondary. It does come up from primary as well, a lot.
Absolutely. And just
Mm.
watching the time there, and it's really catching up on us. I mean,
Yeah.
you have had superb success where you were hoping that over the next 5 to 10 years to get Europe to sit up and take notice. And you've actually made huge progress on that front. I know you've spent a lot of time traveling out to Europe, meeting with various parliaments and getting
Yeah.
good success there. Another thing I wanted to mention to you for it, and it's something that I know a lot of our listeners like to take a trip down to Wexford on holidays and whatnot, um, is Coco's Bench. I actually paid a visit down to Coco's Bench there
Mm.
last week, one day when I was down at Wexford, and it was quite remarkable. It was relatively overcast while I was there, but there was this single stream of light down in Cortown Harbour, shining right on Coco's Bench, which was absolutely beautiful to see. And what I was actually amazed about, and it was thanks to Jackie I found out, if you just put Coco's Bench Cortown into Google Maps, it will actually bring you right the way there, right the way to it.
Mm.
So, what's next for you, Jackie? What have you got coming up? And I know you mentioned to me earlier about a fundraiser you have coming up very, very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I have you see at the screen there, I have a website page there, and it on the website it'll tell you everything, you know, what I do with schools and all my talks, but it also has a donate page. And a donation is for me to keep up doing the school talks, you know, expenses and petrol, stayovers, whatever, anything that will help me continue to do school talks and football clubs and wherever I travel. And we have a fundraising coming up, and it's the biker race, and it's all the bikers were traveling from Smithfield, from the hotel in Smithfield. I forget the name of it. But in Smithfield, we're traveling down to Limerick, but we're stopping on the way. There's about 10 stops on the way where this guy, Mick Bryan, we're stopping to put a teddy bear and a little note on, you know, the likes of in a forest or on a bridge and stuff like that, you know, just to let people know you're not on your own, there is help. So after we stop off, then we're going down to Limerick, and there'll be, you know, a talk there. And there's a lot of the suicide bereavement groups and the hub groups, you know, the ones, the treaty groups
Yeah,
that patrol the rivers and all. And we're all meeting in Limerick, and that's to raise money under Coco's law. Coco's pages, Coco's Heart, educating against bullying. And the website is at the end if anyone wants to look up that or donate. It doesn't matter how small it is, anything will be appreciated,
absolutely.
really.
And
Mm.
Jackie, unfortunately, our time has run out there, but very quickly,
Yeah.
if anybody wants to get in touch with you to find out about how to get a talk in their local area, whether it be in a local
Mm.
school, a local GAA club.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
I think it's very important to highlight the talk is not just for children, it is also something that for adult groups that's well worthwhile
Yeah.
considering.
Definitely.
Because while it may not affect them directly, listening to your talk may well help them identify somebody else who is struggling.
Yeah.
So what's the
Definitely.
best way for people to get in touch with you?
For schools and all, you could email me at jackiefenlon@gmail.com, or you can also leave a message on my website page as well. Look, I'm also on, even though I hate social media, and Facebook and Instagram. I am on Facebook and Instagram, so you can get me through Messenger or Instagrams, Twitter. There's so many ways you could schools. I never ask to go into a school or a college or anything. They always come to me. So just send me a message on any social media, and you can get me there.
Right. Well, listen, Jackie, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Really appreciate you taking the time, because I know that you are exceptionally busy working on bits and pieces for different European parliaments at the moment. And I do hope you will take a step back over the summer and take a little bit of time for you, because you've had a number of years where you've been fighting this battle, and you've done really well. And you still have so much further to go. And do know that here at the Lite Bite Lunch, absolutely anything we can do to help you, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will be here. And unfortunately, that's where we're going to have to leave it. We're going way over time, and I'm getting...
And don't forget, vote for me for the Micro Business Awards under Jackie Fox Coco's Law. So just, if you can't make it, which if you can make it, brilliant. But if not, you can vote for me if you want.
Absolutely. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, when we're going to be joined by Sarah O'Rourke from Saradin Designs, who's actually another finalist in the Micro Business Awards. And until then, I'll bid you all a very good afternoon, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye.